So OJ, does he come back from Chicago the very next day or that night? How does that?
Yes. So he comes back June 13th.
Okay. So June 13th. Okay. So in this began. So one day, not even one full day. Okay.
He wasn't in Chicago 24 hours.
So Monday, the 13th, is when he's interrogated by police. They let him go. What was their instruction to him?
That has never come out. It doesn't sound like there was any instruction.
There was no, don't leave town, none of that. Like,
I mean, I'm sure that would probably came up in common conversation.
I'm just trying to figure out how long it took for them.
I know they wanted him to take a polygraph and he said no.
Oh, well, but a polygraph doesn't. It just detects deception. They should get rid of that altogether.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
especially because you can't use it in court.
No, you cannot. I'm just trying to figure out, like, do you think already in their minds on the 12th and the 13th they were like, this is our prime suspect? There's nobody else.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. I think that the minute that they found blood at Rockingham and OJ Simpson was alive and well in Chicago, he was the top suspect.
Okay. Because they never brought anybody else in. They never looked at anybody else. Is that correct?
Nope.
Okay. How long between the murder and the arrest when we knew, okay, this is it, you're our top suspect, we are charging you? How long was it between those two times?
I believe around Wednesday, Thursday was when they started discussing him turning himself in.
Okay. And they did, I believe I read that they did give him time to get himself together, like get his affairs.
Yes. So the murders happened Sunday. OJ, I think Nicole's funeral was Thursday, and then OJ was to turn himself in Friday.
Yes. Wow. Okay. How long? Oh, but he didn't turn himself in.
He did not.
And this is where it gets good again.
This is where it gets good. So we had a couple days where it was nothing going on from like Tuesday, Wednesday, nothing going on. Thursday was the funeral, which he went to.
I was gonna say, did he go to the funeral? Okay, yeah, he did.
He did go. They said he was.
And at that point, was her family like, you did this? Like, were they? Because I know her sister was like.
One sister says, he came and we hugged, and I told him we'd get through this. She said, "Little did I know." Her older sister Denise. They said when the cops called and told her that Nicole was dead, they said, "This motherfucker, I knew he would do this." But Tanya, the younger one, it doesn't sound like she thought it was him.
Okay.
But he comes to the funeral. They say Nicole was dressed in a black dress, up covering her neck, so you couldn't see that. They said he reached over and kissed her.
Wow.
He went up to Judy Brown, who's Nicole's mom, and Judy said, "Did you do this?" And he says, "No, I didn't do this. I couldn't have done this. I loved her too much."
Wow. But you loved her too much.
You loved her too much.
Like,
I truly think, as people laugh at me when I say this, because I truly think that he was in love with Nicole, but it was not a healthy love.
No.
It was a possessive love. It was a dangerous love.
Yeah. And I wonder, like, what was it? What was the obsession? I mean, I know she was your wife and the mother of your kids, but what was the obsession that you pretty much destroyed your family?
And especially because you didn't do this to Marguerite. Right. So what happened, or what was it about Nicole that you became this obsessed to the point where you were beating her, you were stalking her? Because you figured the way he stalked her in 2022, you're going to jail just for that.
Absolutely.
10 years ago, you're going to jail just for that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's a good question. What is it about her? I mean, was it that she was, younger? So much younger? Because she was 18 when she met him.
Right. So maybe it was a situation where because she was young, she gave him a certain level of control. And then, because I say this all the time, when you're 18, 19, 20, you're not the same person that you are when you're 37,
Absolutely.
38, 39. So she
Mm-hmm.
might have created this monster where she gave him a certain level of control in the beginning of their relationship. And she did everything that she thought a wife was supposed to do and then some. And then as she matured and got to know herself, she probably was like, wait a minute, this is not okay. And so maybe that's
Mm-hmm.
what pushed him over there.
Mm-hmm.
That's just
And
my thought.
I think he started to realize where it was heading, that
That
it
it
was
was
going to
it was
be
gonna be the
over.
end. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Because they went on a vacation.
Mm-hmm.
It was the Kardashians. It was OJ went. And I think that's where she decided that she wasn't going to be with him anymore.
Mm.
That she wasn't going to try again, should I say.
Okay.
That was it.
He didn't have affairs on her. He just was obsessed with her, right?
No. So there were affairs.
Oh.
Yes. Apparently there were many.
Hmm. Well, I mean, he is
And they weren't, doesn't sound like they were hidden too well either.
Hmm. So you gonna cheat on me and kick my ass for breakfast, lunch, and dinner and stalk me?
So you're going to do all that, but I can't do nothing.
Oh, okay. Well, somebody's cuckoo could chew. All right. So he was supposed to turn himself in on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Let's pick up there. What happened? Why didn't he
Supposed to turn
himself
himself in, I believe at 11 a.m. was the negotiated time.
Mm-hmm.
They're looking at the clock. They had they were in like an auditorium.
11:10.
They're in an auditorium waiting, for him to turn himself in, and then they would have got up. One of the, officers or whatever would have got up, and
Mm-hmm.
OJ Simpson is in custody now, and
Mm-hmm.
whatever. Well, he didn't turn himself in, and he was at Bob Kardashian's home at the
Mm-hmm.
time, and he
Okay.
wasn't there.
Oh.
So he disappeared. Him and Al Cowlings.
And Al Cowlings played with him, or no? They went to college together.
Al Cowlings and OJ went to high school together.
Oh, okay, high school. I thought they were.
Interesting tidbit.
Mm-hmm.
Marguerite, who OJ married, his first wife, was Al Cowlings' girlfriend. OJ took Marguerite from Al Cowlings, and they still were best friends.
She had to just stay with poor Al.
Yep.
So he disappears.
And the
next time we see him is where?
So wait a minute. So he disappears, but then we get the, a few hours later, we get the Bob Shapiro and Bob Kardashian press conference where they're reading the letter that OJ left behind.
And I have it. I can read a little bit of it. You want me to?
Sure.
Okay. So it says, to whom it may concern. First, everyone understand, I have nothing to do with Nicole's murder. I loved her, always have, and always will. If we had problems, it is because I loved her so much. I've had a good life. I'm proud of how I lived. My mama taught me to do unto others. I treated people the way I wanted to be treated. I've always tried to be helpful, up and helpful. So why is this happening? I'm sorry for the Goldman family. I know how much it hurts. Don't feel sorry for me. I've had a great life. Great. Please think of the real OJ and not this lost person. Thanks for making my life special. I hope I helped yours. So that sounds like a suicide note.
It does.
What? And this is what this is what they're reading to the press once they figure out we don't know where he is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
You don't think it's a suicide note?
I think it was a manipulation note.
To try to manipulate who?
I think that he was getting ready to try to make a run for it.
Okay.
In the car they found in the Bronco, they found a disguise, they found money.
Okay. I mean, if he had
So
crossed into Mexico, he might have got allegedly.
So we go from, so they're looking for him. No clue where he is. He's spotted by a helicopter. The white Bronco spotted by a helicopter.
Okay.
Let's get this out of the way too.
Okay.
The Bronco. There were 2 Broncos.
2 white Broncos.
2 white Broncos.
Okay.
OJ had one. Al Cowens had one. Identical. So the Bronco that had the blood on it outside Rockingham that Mark Furman found, that was OJ's. That was taken. He never got it back.
That was taken into evidence, right? Okay.
Yes. The Bronco that was in a low-speed chase was Al Cowens' Bronco.
Okay. Yeah, see, I didn't know.
Which is now on tour.
Yikes. I hope Al Cowens is getting a check for his car being on tour.
Nope, he sold it.
Are you serious?
For nothing years ago. So they're spotted from a helicopter. Okay. And then we get the low speed chase. And they tried to call, and I didn't know this until recently because I was watching an interview with Bob Costas. And apparently they tried to call from the Bronco and talk to Bob Costas during the NBA Finals because the NBA Finals is going on as the low speed chase is going on.
Lord have mercy. You know what? Yes, you're right. I'm having a flashback to that.
It was a Friday night
on South Street, and all the bars were playing. Yep.
So they tried to call Bob Costas. Apparently, he didn't get through because nobody believed that it was OJ Simpson.
Wow.
Then Tom Lang calls OJ in the Bronco.
That's the attorney?
Tom Lang is the detective.
Okay, sorry.
So he talks to OJ, he's telling him, don't do this, think about the kids. He's telling him, I already thought about the kids. I've already said my goodbyes to the kids.
Wow.
All that stuff. But, they've been spotted now. So, they're going
God knows
in and out. They're bobbing and weaving.
Helicopter following you. You can't escape a helicopter.
Yep, helicopters following you. The cops are following you. You got all the fans on the freeway and on the overpasses. Right, because it's a low
speed chase, so people are like, "Hey, OJ, you're ready for the world."
So Al Cowens says he just wants to get to his mom. Wants to see his mom. So everybody apparently was at OJ's house on Rockingham. The family.
Okay.
So, long story short, they make their way to Rockingham, which is where the ordeal starts, where he won't get out the car. This went on for a while. And
did he have a gun?
He had a gun.
And he was threatening to take
He was holding family pictures, and they said he was sitting there pretty much like this, with the gun resting on the chin.
Wow.
So, eventually once it gets dark out, which a lot of people think that he waited till it got dark so nobody saw him get out the Bronco and get led back to the police car and all that stuff.
Yeah. So that's where he was arrested. They just rode around in slow-mo, wound up going back to his house anyway.
Yes.
The police were waiting for him there. That's where he was arrested.
So they pull up, and the video will show, if you watch the video, they pull up and you see OJ's son, Jason, run up to the Bronco, and him and Al Cowens are like, Jason's like hitting Al's pushing him away. They kind of have words. The cops come, they get Jason, take him in the house. But, I mean, it was major. I mean, the SWAT team was out. The ESPN documentary is really good. They give you a lot. And that they were saying, like you hear their radios, and they're saying, you got to take them out, take them out.
Really?
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
But not take him out, kind of like MAMIM, right? I mean, don't headshot him.
Take him out.
Jeez Louise.
Because at that point, you figure he's accused of double homicide and he's got a gun.
Yeah.
You know,
he's unfaithful allegedly.
So. Yes. You know, you can't play with that.
Yeah.
So he, you know, they get him in the house, and the ESPN doc is hilarious though, because they say the one guy says, "This is going on national TV, and his family's sitting there eating sandwiches."
What? What?
So the guy interviewing him said, "They were eating." He said, "Dining."
What? They had a catered event for his arrest with the world?
Mm-hmm.
You serious?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what they had to eat? Wow, that's crazy.
Yep.
So he's taken into custody.
And you know, there's a million people out there.
Right.
So, you know, they bring the car out. They said, OJ said, "What are all these N-words doing in Brentwood?"
What? OJ? Did he forget he was black? Sir, did you? Your mother's black. Your children are black. Your wife is black. Producer Goose said he doesn't identify as such.
Well,
is it a little bit of self-hate?
His famous quote is, "He's not black, he's OJ."
Okay, so we lumping him in the same category as.
With that being said, though, is he to me, because when I watch certain things with him speaking, you know, he's very arrogant, and he, you know, he comes across as this jerk.
Yeah.
But it was almost like he says he didn't see color. You know what I mean? He says he never looked in a room and said how many black people are in here until it was jury selection time.
Of course you do.
Now I'm counting all the blacks.
When black people walk in the room, we survey the landscape and we look for other black people. That is common knowledge. I don't know if white folks know it, but that's what we do.
I remember back when he was in, you know, stuff that I've read, when he was at USC, you know, the civil rights guys like Jim Brown and those type guys, they were pissed off with him because he was huge at USC at that time, and he wouldn't use his platform to, you know, help them out or join them or whatever.
Wow.
So
okay. I wonder what that's all about. Like, I mean, and his mother just sat there in the courtroom just supporting him, and
Mama just sat there. All of them.
I mean, that's
Mom, the sisters.
Yeah.
Marguerite.
The oldest two children. It's insane. How long was he in custody before the trial began?
So he went in June, what was that, 17th? And the trial started in January, didn't it? The following January?
The trial. January. Yep. January 29th, 1995.
Okay. So, did you know that while he was in custody, he wrote a book?
Did not know that.
Yes. OJ, I Want to Tell You is the book. He also made money in jail.
Making license
selling memorabilia. The memorabilia that he got in trouble later down the line.
For stealing back?
Yep. So he was.
Wait, so he actually sold it and then went.
So not necessarily that memorabilia.
Okay.
He makes money off that memorabilia.
Wow.
And that's why he wanted his stuff back from, you know, them. You know, later, you know, down the road. But he was they said because he hadn't been convicted of a crime, he was allowed to
make money.
That's right. Because that's how he made his money on the outside.
That's right.
So they would bring in, you know, they couldn't bring in jerseys. So they would bring in like a patch or the number.
Okay.
He would sign the number and then they would attach it to the jersey.
Okay.
Or he signed pictures or, you know, cards or whatever.
Okay.
So he made his money. They said he'd sit there and sign 2,500, you know, of whatever. And he'd be counting it in his head. Okay, that's how much?
Wow. Okay.
Yep.
Well, I mean, it's true. Yeah, you can't make money off of a crime, but if he's not convicted, then rock out.
Yep.
Just keep going and get into the trial.
That's cool.